have off Fridays. I don't live my life like that. When Monday's here, that starts my week. Show up, be on time, and be dressed to play every day. Quickly, have passion to what you want to do in life. Have a purpose to what you want to do in life. I want you to dream, and I want you to have a positive attitude. I'm going to slow this roll, and I'm going to pass it on to Abernathy III. I'm glad to be on this panel, because these are smart brothers and sisters up here. Passion, purpose, dreaming, and a positive attitude. Now, I'm going to leave you with this thought by Rabindranath Tagore. I'll give it to you later on. Dreaming is fine, but you have to do. Dr. Martin Luther King, Andrew Jackson Young, Ralph D. Abernathy, they were dreaming, but they did. So Rabindranath Tagore says this: you cannot cross the sea merely by standing and staring at the water. You had a dream to cross the sea, but you need to get in something to get across the sea. So you get across what you need to be successful in life. And I thank you for being here. I thank you for doing what you're doing. Unplug yourself, get your peers to unplug themselves so that they can hear what this world has for them, okay? And I always like to tell young people this: God bless all of you all.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I am Ralph David Abernathy III. I'm the son of the civil rights leader and Martin Luther King's best friend. I was asked by my dear lifelong friend Tommy Dortch to participate in this outstanding presentation with you esteemed young people, young leaders of today, not tomorrow. I suggested to Tommy that I would not like to participate in the passing of the torch to the next generation of leaders, which is where my childhood friend Martin Luther King III and Michael Julian Bond, our city councilman, and all will be on a panel. But rather I wanted to talk with you all today about health. I wanted to talk with you all not about the past, but I want to talk to you about the future. I want to talk to you all about an issue that is facing every last one of you every single day of your life, and you don't know it. I want to talk to you today about genetically modified organisms, GMOs, that make up 70 to 80% of all of this nation's food supply. Did you eat this morning? I guarantee you whatever you ate was genetically modified, or it was made with genetically modified ingredients. And I'm pleased to be on this panel with you esteemed individuals. Our new president of Morehouse Med School, we, under the old leadership of Dr. John Maupin, a dear friend of mine, we held a presentation at Morehouse Med School. Myself, Dr. Jeffrey Smith, and Nasheed Norrie, who is head of the Georgia Organic Growers Association. I brought you all a pamphlet of that event. It talks about the dangers of eating genetically modified foods and what are genetically modified foods. How many of you all know in this room what genetically modified foods are? Very good. For those of you all who are not aware of it, you need to know that about 30 years ago, this nation allowed corporate America to genetically modify our nation's food supply. In doing so, they did it without our voice, our knowledge, or our vote. I started an organization called the Civil Right to Know, because you have a civil right to know what is in the food that you eat. This is an extremely important issue, not only for our community, but for our nation. Why? Well, first let me tell you that 26 countries, including Europe, have all banned GMOs. That means that Merck, some of the other drug manufacturers, Pfizer, are dealing with drugs that would help repair or help heal issues such as cancer, diabetes, high blood pressure, things that are plaguing our community. However, our corporations such as Sara Lee, General Mills, take genetically modified organisms out of the food and sell it to the rest of the world. And then they put it back in our food and sell it to you and I. In New York, about 3 months ago, I launched the Civil Right to Know movement on the steps of City Hall because the state of New York introduced a labeling law which would label all the food for consumption in the state of New York, GMO or non-GMO. That means when you go into a grocery store, all you simply have to do is look on the back or front of the product and you would see GMO or non-GMO. As a result, that bill is still pending in the state legislature. But as you and I speak, GMOs, well, you ask yourself the question in the African American community, which my brother from Merck talked about, our community being plagued with heart disease, diabetes, high blood pressure. Some suggest that it's in the food that you eat. We don't eat the same food that your grandmama ate. The food that we eat now has been changed. It's been genetically altered and it's been scientifically modified. So when you leave this place today, I want you to understand that every fast food business that you eat at, every restaurant that you eat at, every grocery store that you buy food from, you're eating genetically modified foods. Why is that important? Well, I think we have more cancer in this country than anywhere else in the world. And people want to ask the question, how and what causes cancer? When you get sick, the first thing your doctor tells you, whether it's diabetes, high blood pressure, cancer, we have to watch your diet. That's the very first thing your doctor will tell you, because what you eat is who you are. What you put in your mouth has a long-term implication on the quality of life that you live. So you're young now, and I can tell you that I'm in an all-majority black audience. So I can tell you that black people, you all know we come out the womb with muscles. We run fast, we jump high. The melanin in our skin gives us an advantage to the adaptation of the sun. The hair that we call nappy on our head is a cushion that keeps our head and protects us from the elements of the universe. We are superior human beings. So why do we die younger than our counterparts? I suggest to you that it's the diet. It's in the food that you eat. And you don't even know that you're eating it. And so I'm here to discuss the long-term implications of the quality of life that you live. And you need to know that you're eating genetically modified organisms. I'm not going to debate with you whether or not they make you a superhuman being or whether they cause collateral damage in your body. What I'm going to tell you is that you have a civil right to know what's in the food you eat. So be very cautious about what you eat and what's in the food that you eat.
Thank you. Thank you all. So I know that you all were listening attentively, and I know that you all have started to write down your questions, and I'm just going to start with a few so we can get this moving and get the dialogue going. And I'm going to start with Dr. Shedrick. One of the things that I see as we looked at the challenges that students are faced with is how do they balance their time commitments in college and don't resort to substances that will keep them awake. I'm always concerned in the medical school when I see kids drinking Red Bull or some other things. I have a story when I was about, I guess it was probably maybe 8 or 10 years ago, and I was on the road, and I was gonna do a platform with Patti LaBelle on hormone replacement therapy. And we had just finished a major clinical trial where we had used low-dose hormone replacement therapy. And Miss Patti LaBelle and I were out doing panels. And I got to the hotel, got to Philadelphia, got there about 10:30 at night, and went into the refrigerator, needed something to drink, and I really didn't know what a Red Bull was. And so I opened up a can and drank some, because they were out of the water, and I drank some because I needed something to drink. Well, I couldn't go to sleep that night. And so I got up I really literally did not fall asleep until about 5 o'clock, and we had to be up at 6:30 for makeup and hair and all of that. So they were spending a lot of time trying to get those bags taken under my eyes taken care of. And I knew at that point that this was not a normal substance that I needed to take in my body. So I'm really concerned when I see young people drinking this and the side effects. So help us to talk us through how we can help these young people to understand how they can manage their time, their stress level, their commitments without resorting to using external substances.
Thank you. I will say, just to say a little bit more about that no-dose, a lot of our companies that are out here, our liquor companies, are now producing a significant number of drinks where there's a combination of the no-dose type ingredients along with alcohol. So you got that double whammy. And folks, you need to be careful because the marketers are going after you. When you see products like peanut butter and jelly vodka, when you see products like Fruit Loop vodka, they're going after you, they're going after your 13, 14, 10-year-olds. And when you go online, what they will say about that Fruit Loop vodka is drink your loopy, that's what they call it, like you do your Fruit Loops with a little bit of milk. They're targeting you in our community. So you need to be very, very careful about what you are putting into your body. But getting back to this whole question, it's about balance. It's about knowing yourself. It's about really surrounding yourself with that dream team I talked about earlier. That person who really is going to stand up and confront you when they see you doing something that you shouldn't be doing. And if you have a good sense of who you are, and all of us have a story, none of us are perfect. We do the best we can do until we can do better. If you know your strengths and weaknesses, and you can't take a full load of 18 credits, and really you need to be taking 12 credits or 15 credits, or perhaps you should just be doing a part-time basis in school. Start there, but know your body, know what you can tolerate. Surround yourself with good people. In the article, that one pager that I gave you, it talked about 8 dimensions of wellness. So it talks about fitness, eating, sleeping, all of those components. You take those things into consideration, I think it can make a major difference.
When all of us, none of us are sitting here on this panel, have gotten to be who we are and where we are in life without mentors and advisors. So anybody who gets up and said, well, I didn't have a mentor, or I didn't have someone who advised me, they are really far removed from what is necessary in order for you to stay on track. I call mine, I have a personal board of advisors. These are people who I have connected with throughout my life. Some of them are my teachers from high school. Some of them were my mother's best friends. Some of them were my professors in college. Some of them are my girlfriends. But they are people who I can call on at any time, and they're gonna tell me the truth. You know those people. You need those people who, no matter how many degrees you get or how many titles you get, that they are not afraid to tell you the truth, okay? And I'm not talking about beyond, girl, you don't look good in that dress. I'm not talking about that, or that's the wrong hairstyle. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about you're with the wrong partner. You're making the, you know, when I look at you and I think about all the things that you have to contribute, maybe you should consider this career opportunity. I'm talking about people who aren't afraid to say to you, you know, I've seen you lately. I've seen you have a glass of wine every night. And now I've seen that you have 2 or 3 glasses of wine. Or you're drinking, what's this stuff called? Lupit? Lupit. Okay. And you're doing too much of that. Those are the type of people who need to be on your dream team. People who are not scared of you.